Okay, so the Steelers made a trade, actually, technically two trades, but we're going to talk about one in this video, one in another video. But they made a trade at the trade deadline, and it was for wide receiver Mike Williams. Williams spent the beginning of his career with the Chargers, went to the Jets this offseason, and now he's coming to Pittsburgh for a fifth round pick. He definitely fell out of favor with the trade for Davante Adams. Because before, at least, it was Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, and then like him. And maybe some other guy sprinkle it in there. But now with Davante Adams, it's Adams, Garrett, and Lazard. So Mike Williams kind of just fell out of favor, especially some of the stuff when he got called out by Aaron Rodgers, and it just seemed like he wanted out, and the team really didn't need him per se. So he gets traded to Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh was actually pursuing him in the offseason, but they never got a chance to bring him into the building because he signed with the Jets. So, unfortunate that it cost a fifth round pick, but you finally got him. Maybe I'm going to look like an ass for this afterwards, but I'm not crazy about the trade. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to cheer for Mike. I'm going to root for him to do well. All that stuff. Like, I'm going to be a good Steelers fan. It's not like Mike Williams is going to catch a touchdown. I'm going to boo. Or if he makes a catch and I'm no, I'm going to root for him and hope he does well. Because now he's on my team. He's on my favorite team. So, it's just, I'm not crazy about it because I felt like there were definitely other guys that I would have wanted over him. Like Darius Slayton. And now he's in concussion protocol, apparently. I just learned about that. So it's like, okay, do you want to trade for a guy in concussion protocol? Who knows when he's going to play? And, there was Christian Kirk, but now he's out for the season. Who else is out there? I mean, Cooper Kupp, that was a great option. But when LA won versus the Vikings, by the way, that was definitely a face mask, and I have no idea how the ref missed it. That really kind of shut the door on that because if the Rams are winning, why would we trade away one of our best receivers? And you can go back and forth between who's better, him or Puka, but basically one of our top two receivers. But, so that was kind of like just out, not really a possibility once they won that game. And you can't force a team to trade you a player. And then I saw Tyler Lockett being thrown around. That would have been okay, previous experience with Russell from Seattle. I heard DK Metcalf thrown out there a little bit. Honestly, I don't see that. I think Seattle wants to move forward with DK and Jackson Smith-Njigba as like their two top options, which is why Tyler Lockett was in theory an option. And there were maybe a couple other names floated out there, but nothing serious, So, but out of the serious options, Mike Williams was probably at the bottom of my list. So, and as far as a fifth round pick goes, is that too much? Maybe. But, I mean, welcome to Pittsburgh, and maybe being in a different environment will be good for him because going from the Jets to the Steelers is a huge change culturally. So, obviously, we're going to see what happens. See if he can build some quick chemistry with Russell. And, I mean, it's another option, and it's better than what we had. It's just not quite what we were hoping for. It is the second of their 2 fifth-round picks. So the Steelers had 2 fifth-round picks coming into the 2025 draft, and it's the later of the 2. So that is nice, at least, that we were able to do that. Steelers do take on the remainder of his salary this year. I know sometimes to facilitate a trade, the team trading the player away will pay some of the contract in order to get the player out of the building. But that is not the case here. The Steelers are picking it up. And, I mean, I think he'd probably get number 18. I don't think it's used by anyone right now. And I know he was 81 with the Chargers, I believe. But 81 is Michael Pruitt, so can't have it. So I think he'd probably get 18 in that case, what he had with the Jets. So we'll see. I mean, we knew that we needed another option opposite George, because if George goes down, we're screwed. That was what the Steelers were in. Like, if the Rams lose Puka or Cooper, you're fine. The Bengals, if you lose Jamar or T, you're still pretty fine. Steelers don't have that luxury. It's George or nobody. One other thing before I end the video. I did see some people say, why didn't we trade for Deontay? We literally could not trade for him. There's some kind of NFL rule where the Steelers were not permitted to trade for Deontay Johnson. Now, the loophole around this is that Deontay Johnson gets traded to a team, the Steelers can then trade for him from that team. So it'd be like, hey, Minnesota, trade for Deontay Johnson from the Carolina Panthers for a 7th. And then trade him to us, and we'll give you a 6. That would be essentially, and Minnesota benefits. They get, a round higher pick, and they didn't do anything. But obviously that realistically really wouldn't happen, because who's to say that team is going to keep their word that they would trade you that player? They might trade for that player and say, nah, we're going to keep him. And also in this instance, Baltimore wouldn't trade him to Pittsburgh. It's much like the Browns were not going to trade Amari Cooper to Pittsburgh. Could they have? Yeah. But they weren't gonna. That's an in-division trade, and Amari's still a good receiver. So they weren't gonna do that. So yeah, I saw a lot of stuff thrown out there. And I don't know. I'm not over the moon about it. I'll take it because we need the help, but we'll see. And maybe this is a terrible take in 3, 4, 5 weeks. I couldn't tell you. I mean, Mike Williams could be, if assuming the Steelers make the playoffs, they're 6-2. I would hope they do, but assuming that they were to make the playoffs, Mike Williams could be the hero of the playoffs for all we know. He might end up being the reason why they win a playoff game, or I doubt it, but the reason why they make it to the Super Bowl, And that's not to say Mike couldn't. I don't think the Steelers are going to make the Super Bowl. I'm a fan, but I'm realistic. So I will cheer, I will root, but I also have to be realistic about where they could be and what their potential is. Honestly, I think potential, win a playoff game. That's the thing. I think they can win a playoff game with Russell Wilson. And if they win 2 playoff games and make it to the conference championship, I'm ecstatic. I think that's a win. If they make it to the conference championship, I think that's a win. and hell, make it to the Super Bowl, and I'm over the moon. I am over the moon. Like, that's a win in itself. Obviously, I'd want to win the Super Bowl, but that would be in itself a win to me. Just because they haven't had recent playoff success. They haven't won a playoff game since like the 2016 season. So, but yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do leave a like. And if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Let's try to build this up, Steeler Nation. And anyone else not a part of Steeler Nation but is here, whether you stuck around from the old channel or you're new. So, and then hit the notifications as well. That way, when I upload, you know about it. And thanks for watching. I'll see all you in the next video.